Jason, you packing up your house?
Soon, man. We're trying to get out of here by at least August, dog. I got so much shit to do,
He's
bro.
already lost.
Oh, you hear the plastic?
Bro, we're live.
Oh, we live? Oh, my bad. Well, I am packing up my house.
Really?
Greetings. Welcome to the 1-6
They
Scale.
sent me up.
Are we
Probably
live?
presents-
Are we live? What?
We're live.
They sent
Greetings
me
and
up.
welcome to the 1-6 Scale Man Probably presents. You know what it is. Comic Book Talk with Friends Monday. I am your host, along with my bros. I'm so happy to be back. We got so much to kind of run through. Most importantly, so glad to have you guys here with us. Those who are actually popping in right now, make sure that on your way in, you hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do. I'm on my way to 4,000 subscribers, so hopefully we get there. Once we reach 4,000 subscribers, each and every one of you will get your very own bag of Sour Patch Kids butt naked from Brendan. So make sure that you hit that like button. And on the back of the bag, it'll have a butt naked shine. All you got to do is fill it out and all that.
That's hilarious.
Me too. And yes, but yes, I wouldn't be at a show without bringing my bros in. First off, let's bring in Mr. Butt Naked himself. Brendan, what's going on with you, bro?
He about to help me pack, yeah.
I'm just therapeutic for me. I'm just bagging and boarding some fresh books, Good times. So, but I muted my mic earlier while I was, so I wasn't all in the mic and stuff. But Jason, I think Jason was fucking packaging his actual microphone.
I was getting ready, man.
We were going, but yeah, man. I got a shit ton of comics in. I got omnibus hauls in. I got tons of shit in. So it's been a good week for comic books and shit.
Yeah, definitely it has, man. Thank you for being here. Where's the butt naked bag, bro?
You mean the Sour Patch?
Did you eat them all?
Oh hell no, no! You got to make that shit last, dude.
Okay.
Otherwise, I won't have any teeth left.
Okay.
No, it'll make an appearance later.
Okay. So it's basically appearance. I see you came suited for the occasion. We got a Spider-Man shirt on. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I just got this shirt. In today, actually. I'm not even gonna lie. They had a big sale at Heroes and Villains for celebrating across the Spiderverse.
Yeah.
So I got this and a couple others. If don't sleep on Heroes and Villains, people. That's a really good shop. Tons of great Marvel, DC, Star Wars shirts, bags, backpacks, all kinds of stuff. Definitely check it out.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank you for being here as always. Next up, we got the one and only Jedi Pimp in the building, bro. What's going on with you, bro? So check it out before you start. So you had a picture of you and your wife up, bro. So what I did was I took that picture, I cropped her out, and I got a special meme coming just for you.
Oh shit.
Boy, this boy is hilarious, dog.
I can't wait. Theme music,
Hilarious,
bro.
Huh?
Theme music and everything.
I need that.
You say you need it now. You haven't seen it yet. You might feel different later.
I'll be all right. He ain't gonna do me too bad. I hope not. We'll see what happens.
Nah. It ain't
We'll see what
bad.
happens.
It's some smooth shit.
Well, bro, it's been a cool week, bro. I just got back from I was at Key Largo for the weekend. We left Friday, stayed out for our anniversary, our 10-year anniversary. Had a good time down there at Key Largo, and man, that Thursday night, between Wednesday and Thursday, so many figures came in, bro. I'm like, what the hell? Like at one time,
what'd you get in?
I got the Snow Speeder Luke. I got the Mando Luke. I got that Iron Man, the one with the glass force field. I was holding off on it, but Lyle like talked me into that one, so I pulled trigger on that.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Dude, I got that. I got
Did you get Wanda?
Carnage. No, Wanda should be here. What's today? Today's Monday. I'll probably get her with Cyborg. They both come in Thursday, I think.
Such a good figure.
Yeah, that one. I got freaking the Ant-Man. Bucky and Yelena, dog. Yelena is
bro. All in.
Yeah, bro. Yelena is like number 2, I think, for figure of the year, bro. Falcon is first.
It's a dope figure, bro.
Dude, Falcon's number 1 right now, but Yelena is like number 2, I think, for me for figure of the year, bro. That junk looks just like her.
Which ones are you gonna get out of the announcements today?
I just RSVP that Batman, and I'm gonna probably go ahead and do the same for the Wonder Woman, bro.
Now, Lael, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Are you getting the Wonder Woman or are you not? Are you getting her?
I'm gonna get that one, man.
But Lael, are you getting her or are you not?
You're not gonna get it?
Yeah, I'm
getting it. Look at his Instagram. His post from this morning, it did not age well. We can say that because
hey, I'm still not getting that Batman because that's just not for me. But Wonder Woman, bro, come on, you know me.
But the Batman,
do you want to read your post? Do you want?
I thought you sat on it this morning.
No, I didn't shit on Wonder Woman. I just said, look, it's just I know when to say nah. But looking at the Wonder Woman, you study it. I'm like, yo, it's a dope piece with the frame, with the.
But they said it's a new body for Wonder Woman too. That's what I'm going to go ahead and get.
It's the same silicone body that they basically use for Wonder Woman. You know,
this is Jason. This is what his Instagram post said this morning. It said, "Even I know when to say nah, son. As much as I love Wonder Woman and Batman, these will not make it into the collection. Different story if it were Christopher Reeve's Superman." Right?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then he did his stream this afternoon, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm getting that Wonder Woman."
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm getting that Wonder Woman. You damn right,
dude. Damn right. He flip flopped so hard he should be on somebody's feet.
Look,
bruh, you can't deny that new Wonder Woman, bro. With that base and everything too, dog. You can't deny that figure, dog.
It is what it is. If I flip flop, I don't give a shit. This Wonder Woman, I'm all in.
Yeah,
I proudly ordered that Batman. I don't give a
fuck. Yeah, me too.
Like the Batman is just not me. It's definitely
not. I always wanted to see Bale in the blue and gray, even when he was just back in the day when it first came out. So to finally get it in blue and gray that's dope, bro.
Bro, if they were going to do Bale in the blue and gray, I would have preferred that they would have done the Batman Begins suit.
Yeah. It's definitely not perfect, but
yeah. But that Batman Begins suit is kind of, I don't know, it's just too stiff. You have to get a different head sculpt for that, that body,
bro. The Batman Begins suit is better. Like I'm telling you, it's articulate, it's articulated, and they did it that way because of the tumbler. So it makes more sense. It's just, again, the head sculpt is inaccurate. There's certain things you can futz with it and make it work. So I think it work, but again, I just think that if they would have given us a 2.0 version of that, right suit, and made that blue and gray, that would have been dope. But if they would have did blue and gray, yellow, and made the emblem yellow, I would have been all in.
Yeah.
They missed it with that.
Pretty posable though.
Yeah.
I haven't obviously seen the trailer, but the Bale mask from Begins always felt like, from the Nolan films in general, always felt a little clunky to me. So having it a different color than the suit is like brings attention to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with this one, because this is the upgraded suit, and that's the one I wanted to be blue and gray, especially when he had the white eyes in that movie.
I wish they wouldn't have done blue and gray at all, though, because I wish they would have saved that for Gunverse.
Oh well, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. Damn.
We'll see basically where it
Yeah.
goes.
I think the Bale one that they announced today looks better than the Batfleck one though. I just don't like, and that's not on Hot Toys. I don't like the suit design that they went with in the movie for the Flash. I don't like it at
the
all.
Batfleck one, man, it's just the mask doesn't look right. The suit, I can get away with the suit, but the mask, bro.
Yeah, we'll jump into that in a minute though. But bro, thank you as always for being here, bro.
No doubt.
Vinny up real quick. Vinny, what's going on? First of all, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you opened the Luke yet?
Yeah, I don't have it in here with me, but I've set it up, put batteries in, got it going. It's amazing.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'll be upset.
I'll have it on the show the next show or Thursdays if we do Thursday.
Did you lie down and smoke a cigarette after you opened it?
No, but it was fun. There's a lot that goes into that. It's like I'm glad I set aside time to do it because it's an experience, bro.
Yeah,
it's a process.
Absolutely.
Just like and you gotta
always
be like
remember your first.
Yeah, you gotta be like meticulous as hell getting those batteries and shit. It's like damn. You can
tell,
the
like, batteries
the
like little
pliers.
Yeah, need little pliers for that shit though.
Yeah. Whoever designed the battery system for Hot Toys is a straight up asshole.
Yeah, I mean,
bro, I'm gonna have a nightmare when Cyborg gets here.
I had to get like I didn't even have a screwdriver that would fit that small. Like, and I have kids here who have to put batteries in toys all the time, and there's no.
Oh god!
There was no screwdriver like that small.
You know what I used like you can get them at like CVS or Walgreens and stuff. The glasses case, the ones that have like the small ones.
What I got it like a little kit. Like I had a small one, but it wasn't even small enough. So
and the Iron Man figure.
Everything looked amazing. I don't know. I guess I'm sure I knew, but I forgot that the Death Trooper, not the Death Trooper, but the Troopers lit up too. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Dark Trooper. Yeah. I forgot they lit up too, and it's cool because like they have a light up and then like a flashing light up. So lots of attention to detail, lots of cool stuff that they added in to make it set it apart from the other stuff that they got going on.
Start adding detolfs to the room.
Yeah, I got one with one space left that I want to give him, but yeah, I gotta get more. Even though now detolfs is like a down payment on a house now.
Yo, did they go up like in Jersey or something?
They're like 120, 150 now or something.
They literally doubled it. It was like 59.
It used to be like $60.
It was like $60
here. It was $60 for like a decade. It was $60 for like a decade, and now it's just they
Six-scale community ruined it.
They didn't raise it by $20. They raised it by like double. They're like, what are you gonna do about it?
Cause my boy is in Jersey and he's trying to get detox. He's like, they like 150. I'm like, what? Yeah, 120.
And then the shipping on them is a nightmare too.
Yeah. Nah, bro, I go right to IKEA.
Like if you ordered online, the shipping is brutal.
Shit,
nah.
$60.
How was the con, bro?
So this weekend, I was at Fan Expo Philadelphia the whole weekend, and a buddy of mine I usually travel with and do cons with, also from Harrisburg. He couldn't make it, so I had too short a notice to do something with the table, so I just spread out and did double tables for the con, and it was fun. It was like a long weekend, lots of lots of art, lots to see, lots to do there, and just had a blast talking to so many people and just having fun, just explaining stuff and talking shop to other vendors and learning what works, what doesn't work. But the funnest part is always just seeing a kid's face light up and like, look, mommy, there's Moon Knight. Look, mommy, there's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so on and so forth. So cool. And just having them like point out what characters in the book they know and just talk shop with other geeks about movies. And everybody at the con is talking about Spiderverse. So like they'd see my malls and just talk about the movie for 10 minutes, and then other people come in and like, did you see what they did? And it was just amazing, just like thousands of us, you know what I mean? Just just talking shop and just it was always like so fun doing these cons because you get to see people just be themselves and be in a whole building full of people that they don't have to kind of like tone down their natural state. They don't have to be around people who tolerate their geekiness. Like they get it. You know what I mean? So they can geek out and wig out about all the stuff that they like and not feel like they have to like, hold back so that they don't embarrass themselves. Like they get to just be themselves. So tons of cosplayers, tons of people, just having a blast, like seeing somebody else from the same show or movie that they like dressed like them or whatever, and just freaking out, taking pictures with them, and talking different art processes. A lot of people came up and were, just throw with stuff that they seen at my table that they didn't see at other people's table, and I enjoy seeing stuff that I hadn't seen before from other vendors too. So it's always a fun like community thing to me going to these cons and working on behind the table. It just adds another aspect of appreciation because I know how much work goes into trying to create stuff that people enjoy and will hopefully take home and hang up and have part of their house, their culture in their in their world. So it's always fun, man. It's always a blast. So this is one of the bigger shows that I do, and it was one of the in Philadelphia, and that building was the very first con that I ever went to as a kid. When I was like 13, I went to my first comic book convention with my best friend at the time, and we took a trip to Philly, and like Todd McFarlane was the artist there that day, and we were so psyched to meet him, and we just spent the whole con just getting as many like comic books autographed as we could and just having a blast. And to now like be working it is super cool. So
That's
it's
cool.
a blast. Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, and we got a couple of photos here. That we'll definitely take a look at. Mainly the booth. I want to actually bring the booth up so everybody can actually see. What you have, how your setup, stuff like that. So we definitely, bro. And the thing is, the setup just keeps getting bigger and bigger, bro.
It's crazy because like I've been doing this for like about 4 or 5 years, and 2 of those years we couldn't do nothing because of COVID. So it's really kind of like my only second or third year doing cons and stuff. And like today stretching out to 2 tables. I mean, this weekend stretching out to 2 tables. Back when I think back to like when I was trying to get like 5 or 6 pieces together for my first show, and here I have like 80 different pieces available in my binder alone for prints, and just more stuff that I can even put out. So I've definitely been as busy as I could be trying to get as much different, interesting, appealing pieces as possible for people to enjoy, and not just prints. Like this winter I did some album covers. You see there like Biggie, Woo, and Nas. Those are just I'm not sure if I showed them on the show before, but those are just I picked up albums. I got some old used singles on eBay, and then I just literally painted right on the album itself for as original art pieces, and I did some sketch variant covers for comics, and I did some. I know I talked about these before in the show, but I did Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings book pages, where it's the actual of the book that's right on the page. That was the big seller this weekend. That's what grabbed everybody's eyes. People would walk past the table, I'm like, okay, cool, and then they'd stop in the dinner tracks at that one. So those are some of the more popular ones for me this weekend. and then I recently came up with some anime glass paintings, and it's just a new thing for me that I had to get used to. Is a process where you like reverse you do reverse glass paintings, and I wanted to get more anime pieces. I've been enjoying more anime myself personally, so I did some pieces from Demon Slayer. This is Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, and this was actually in pastel pencil. So I've been trying new media too. So I actually just got these recently for Christmas, and I was like, I want to try some pastel, and tried that, and that's the one of the first pieces that came up with that for that. So I did a new Demon Slayer piece, and did a new My Hero Academia piece with Deku from that show, and then that's that one. So
amazing work, man.
Yeah, so I did those 2 this week leading up to the show, and then I did a few of the glass paintings, and those are interesting because it's just like you do everything in reverse. Like you draw backwards in reverse, and you do the detail first, and then you layer the paint in reverse order that you would paint, and then you have the image on the front, and then the back is just like a blur because you went backwards. And then I just used the page from the actual manga comic as a background, and then there you go, framed glass original art piece right on the actual glass itself.
That's
So
awesome, man.
yeah, thank you, man. So like those caught a lot of eyes too, and people seem to enjoy those. So it was just I don't know. I just love creating different stuff and just coming up with fun stuff to do different, and just it's part of fun for me whether I sell it or not, man. It's just fun making it. So it's cathartic, keeps me out of trouble. Lots of fun. And so I did 8 of these, and I got like a cool spinner rack, so it could be kind of like a comic book type spinner
Oh,
rack.
Inuyasha.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lady with a Inuyasha shirt. She stopped and she was like, "I have to have this." And her husband,
That's so dope.
it was so funny because her husband was like, "Well, you were going to get the other thing that was almost 50. You want to get that instead?" She goes, "I think I got to get this instead." So she was like, really happy with it, and that's what it's all about, man. Just making people happy and bringing art into their world just as much as because it makes me happy when I bring new art into my world. So I'm a
That's
big
dope.
fan. I'm a big fan of art too. So I know how much it makes me happy seeing art around a con and buying some myself. So it's really cool to be on the other side of that. Able to give that to other people. So yeah. So I got that, and
Oh god, I'm
I
seeing
have
that.
Chainsaw Man piece too. This is one of my favorite ones because it just pops the way it wound up working out. So, and there's a lot of Chainsaw Man fans nowadays at the cons, and Demon Slayer and anime is just ridiculously huge right now. So I like a bunch of it, and there's some that's new to me. So the stuff that I actually know about, I've started making some art for. So that's yeah. So that was my Fan Expo Philadelphia this weekend. So had a blast. I will be at 2024's Fan Expo Philadelphia, and I will also be at there's a con here in Harrisburg that I'll be doing in August. So that's the next one. So yeah, man, it's really tough to put these together though when I'm in the middle of the work season though. So that was brutal, but
yeah,
it's
it's like it's like it would be easier if like say for instance if we had like a brutal winter time where you can actually just take that downtime.
Yeah,
To
it's
do
like
it.
wintertime. I tend to
Winters, bro.
wintertime. I tend to make a lot of art, but the cons are spread out obviously throughout the whole year. But
Yeah.
when I have a con leading up, I can't help myself. I always create new stuff for it, even though I might be going somewhere where no one's even seen any of my stuff. But I can't help myself. I just always want to have something new to show every time I, work a table. So,
Yeah.
but
Con
yeah, man, I
season is
appreciate.
basically April to October, which is right when you're going to be
Yeah,
slammed. So.
absolutely. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, I get it though. As who wants to, plan a con in the winter when it might snow? Like I literally had that happen before. I had, thank you, Scala. I had a con in Hershey in February a couple years ago. No, before the like 19, I think, and it snowed in between Saturday and Sunday, and I had to leave the con on Saturday, go do snow removal all night, and then got back like an hour late to the con, and then worked all that day. So I'll take this over that for sure. So winter cons suck.
Hell yeah, bro. But hey, man, I definitely looked like it was a fun time. I know you said like there was some hiccups, but you got through those. But
Yeah, man, it was tough because yeah, like the yeah, I thought we would be doing it one way, so I would wind up going driving each day to the con and then coming driving back. So that was
ooh,
tough. Yeah, because
driving the con and then coming way back here.
because me and El were gonna trade off driving, and then he couldn't make it, and then it was too late to find a decent hotel.
How long of a drive is it?
It's about 2 hours if you hit traffic, a little bit less if you go early in the morning enough to beat it. So it's a little under 2 hours, but which is not that big a deal if you're not also working, like dealing
Right.
with people all day and then just
Hey,
have to
Leo,
like, go home and turn
you
around.
had a major con less than 2 hours from your house, and you didn't go.
bro, because her
No. Just sit there in your shame.
nah,
Sit there in your shame and just be shameful. Sit there in your shame and be shameful.
Toya's granddad had his 80th anniversary was on, or his 80th birthday was on Saturday. So they put together this whole
Oh yeah, Trump that.
Yeah, like they had like this whole event, like they rented out a hall, they had dinner. It was the entire family, it was everybody there, and they were up, like she was up early in the morning because again, getting the girls' kids their hair ready and getting
That's impressive that they threw a 3-day long birthday party for him. That's very impressive.
Bro, we would have only been able to go one day anyway because of the time. Yeah. So that's why like it was just kind of hard to get. Bro, right now, coming off of everything that's going on right now, it's just a hard space to be in when you're trying to like cover everything, and then you can only have one day, but then they sending us around like getting everything. Because the thing is, she was part of getting that hall together, like with the family, and like her dad was supposed to come up, but he didn't come up. So it was a whole bunch that was pretty much going on. So I was just kind of caught in the middle of that shit. So it was a headache. But besides that, it was a good time. You know, everybody had a good time. The family was there. You know what I mean? It's always good to like, you know, and it's her side of the family. So I got a chance to meet a lot of people. And the bad part about it is, bro, when you haven't met her dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is what you run into. It's just like, oh shit. Like,
you gotta get that.
You definitely got to get that, bro. So like it's always a tough thing.
Vinny, did you pick up?
Has just arrived. What was you gonna say,
Vinny? Did you pick up any art or any books while you were at the con?
I did not. I walked the floor right before the con started on Saturday, and I seen something I wanted from somebody I know, and I knew I could get it from them later because I've made a few buddies who work the shows, and I knew I could get that later. But he wasn't. It too. Yeah, it's really tough when you're working it, and he wasn't at the booth at that time. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll hit Scott up later. And then Friday was a little slow, but Saturday I was so busy that literally every time I even like went to the bathroom when I came back, there was someone waiting at the table for me to like, you know, like I almost lost the sale because the second you stepped away, like it was super just busy. Like whether people were buying or not, there's almost constantly somebody at the table at all times. So I was just fucking like working the table the whole time. Like I barely ate all weekend. Like I was just constantly just dealing with people, which is a good thing, but I didn't really have time to shop. On Sunday, my girl came up and she watched the table for like 15 minutes for me to like walk the floor real quick to see what I hadn't seen the day before. Right. And I like sped walked through it. I dipsetted my ass throughout the whole con just to see everything. And I was like, all right, cool. This is everything that like I got to see. And then she was calling me saying like, hey, they want some stuff. And I just like beelined it back. And I was like, you know, if there's a reason not to have been able to shop, and the reason is to make money, then I'll live with that.
Yeah. Word. I picked
real
this
quick,
up.
Real quick, though, before we move on, let me actually bring in my guy, my cousin Cam is in the building.
What's good?
What up?
Table. What's up,
guys? What's going on, man? I can hardly hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. What's going on with you?
Man. Just got out of Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So.
You went and saw it? So without
on early,
is it worth going to see?
The ending is. I would say that.
Oh hell!
I can tell you at 12:01. I can tell you. I can't.
You can't.
Oh shit!
I'm not allowed to say anything yet. It's embargoed until 12:01.
Okay, cool.
12:01 hit. I can tell you whatever you want to know. But yeah, it's good though. It's a good film. It's a good film.
Thank you, man. So thank you for stopping through, man. I'm gonna actually run through the chat. Thank you for being here as always, bro. I'm gonna run through the chat real quick and then we'll actually dive in. We got my baby Skylar is in here, and she gave her pop
dropping $10 on you.
99-cent super chat here from my favorite comic book panel. I always have to make sure I make it in time for these discussions. LOL. This movie was awesome. Thank you so much, Punkin, for being here. I can't be calling her Punkin because she's a grown ass woman.
So what?
She know what it is, bro. We don't care how old they get. They
hell no.
matter.
That's
I
how
still
it
from
is.
my 22-year-old baby. All
Hell
the time.
yeah, bro.
Baby
That's
boo.
what I'm saying. It's my baby girl, so this is how it is, baby. Thank you.
Man, my dad just calls me asshole.
Thank you for being here so much. As always, we got Beam in the building. Thank you for being here. We
What
got
up?
Baller 2745 in the building. He says, "Man, Vinny, I wish I knew about your work when I was stationed up in New Cumberland until last year. Your
That's
work
what
was
online is for, bro. Hit me up now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and go on the
That's
actual
what's up, though, man.
yeah, definitely. What's up, man? Thank you for being here as always. We got Malika Mabane in the building. Thank you for being here. Peace, Calvin. As always, we got Mike Rodriguez in the building. We got Mark P. We got Thomas Bartholdy is in the building. Thank you for being here. As always, man. We got DT Art, man. We got El Profesoro himself. Mario's in the building. Badass Vinny. What's going on, everyone? We got Ren's Talent Tino in the building. That glass painting, the glass paintings are amazing. As always,
Bro, appreciate it.
I want that Inuyasha, bro. I'm going to get that off you, dog.
definitely. Who else we got? We got Amber May in the building. Thank you for being here. Let me see who else we got. Malika Mabane. Let's see here. Bindu Windu is in the building. Alvin J is in the building. Who else do we actually got out here as well? One Pouchman is in the building. Thank you for being here. We got Luminar in the building. Thank you for being here.
Lumi.
Always. Force Unleashed is in the building. Who else do we actually have here with us? So we got quite a few people that are actually stomping through. Aaron Collects is in the building. Thank you for being here as always. We got my lady Latoya T in the building. Thank you for being here.
Toya. Hey, Toya.
Ayo Corey is in the building. Thank you for being here as always, man.
Yep.
So we definitely appreciate that. Justin McFly is here. Yomo is here as always. Evangelium is in here. Thank you for being here. So we got quite a few people that are actually floating through here. As always, we definitely appreciate that. Love y'all for being here. But we're going to basically dive in. Now, here's the thing. We always start off the top with the artist of the week. We basically pull an artist, one who's basically his contributions, in the community, basically within the art community, within comics, and everything that we actually know is always warranted. And I'm pretty surprised that we didn't talk about this dude, bro. Like, yeah. It just dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute, we didn't talk about John Byrne. Like, I'm like, come on, man. We definitely got to mention John Byrne. Like, people who don't know it and know who he is, come on, man. You got to be living under a rock. If you don't know who John Byrne and his contributions in comics, and the simple fact that his work his work is legendary. Like, literally it is. He's not just basically a comic book artist, but he's a writer as well. So definitely, like, it's so good to if you got to have his work from Superman to Batman to anything that and also if you're looking for like some of his work in Marvel, he had a dope run with Spider-Man. He had a dope run with the Avengers itself, Fantastic Four as well. John Byrne is known and legendary. Vinny, I'll start with you first, bro. What's your take on John Byrne, bro?
John Byrne is really important to a lot of us because he's reinvented a lot of our favorite titles as we were growing up. Like, his run on X-Men is obviously legendary, and it's one of those unfortunate situations where a lot of people give justified due credit to Claremont, but John Byrne is a huge part of that era of X-Men that so many people inherently define the group with is the Dark Phoenix saga and Days of Future Past. Like, that era, that time is so synonymous with Chris Claremont, but John Byrne was a huge part of that, and they were collaborators. I mean, they bounced ideas off of each other. Like, so much of what Claremont came up with is legendary, but so much of that is also attributed to John Byrne's input and designs and art as well. So, like, he's just super important and legendary, and the contributions that he made to X-Men. He did the same thing with Fantastic Four, bringing them back to their roots. He did the same thing with Spider-Man. He did the same thing with Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his storytelling, or some of his ideas were controversial, but they were always super impactful. Like, he made so many contributions. Like, I mean, he had famous contributions on uh, Batman. He created Alpha Flight. I mean,
Alpha Flight. I'm about to say that.
like,
Yeah.
Hell,
Alpha Flight.
yeah,
you know,
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, you name it, he's had
Mm-hmm.
a monumental run on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as an artist, he who like has so many different inspirations growing up of just different artists that I've admired their takes on different characters. He was always really special to me because I love doing different things that are dynamic and eye grabbing, and what he was best known for was just super dynamic splash pages, dynamic covers, dynamic art all the time. And like, he had some of the most iconic and revolutionary dynamic pages and splash pages back when a lot of covers weren't necessarily flashy for the dynamics. They were flashy for, like, you know, word balloons or different things that would catch you. But he made a lot of compositional decisions that were just super incredible. And um, there was a black suit Spider-Man cover for Spectacular Spider-Man 101 that I've loved since the minute I saw it decades or whatever ago. And I had a shirt of it. Like, I just always loved that cover. And then a couple years ago, I wanted to do a Moon Knight cover, and I was trying to think of what I wanted to do for it. I wanted to do a Moon Knight piece, and I took inspiration from that Spectacular Spider-Man 101 cover, that one, and I flipped it, and I did Moon Knight in white and black instead of Spidey in black and white, and I just did this, and
Oh,
then
that's dope.
put After Byrne, for the inspiration. So I just, like, kind of reverse image what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And halfway through, because all these damn windows, I wanted to, kick myself in the ass for coming up with that idea. That took fucking forever. But yeah, that's he's been a huge inspiration to me. Like, he's amazing. He's done so many great things in the industry. He's created tons of iconic characters. He's just one of the pioneers, one of the pillars of the industry. And
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like, again and again and again, we say it so many times when we have an artist featured on the show, is that, they just don't get the credit. They're not the household names that they should be, but his contributions to the business are, like, damn near limitless. He's done so much, and he's made decisions that, like, have been controversial. But if you don't have any controversy, you probably weren't trying hard enough to be different. So I've always loved the things that he's brought to the table. Like, I'm sure you guys will go in depth more to some of the stories and characters he's created. But yeah, that's my feelings on John. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's definitely a legend, bro. A legend of, and that's the thing, is like, his interpretation. Here's the thing, when there's a great artist, when sometimes, again, their style is often copied, or,
Yep.
or there's an interpretation of their style. And often it's not like a direct copy, but it's paying homage, because sometimes even the way his art depictions, if you're telling a story and if that story is passed to another writer, or if
Right.
there's continuation and he doesn't touch it, then as an artist, you're almost forced to kind of like gauge from that interpretation to continue the story, at least to give it that impact, because that's what he was all about when it came to his art, was the impact and how much it was married to the story that was being written. So
I
definitely,
mean,
yeah,
just think about, like, some, like Kitty Pryde, Sabretooth, Bishop, like
yeah,
Omega Red, like so many, like you can just go on and on. So many, but yet not always those names aren't always synonymous with them. But it's like he was just as much a part. Like he was there. He was part of that, and it's just yeah, he's definitely one of the people that I would have at the top of the list of legends that are part of why the genre is where it's at. For sure.
Oh yeah, definitely is for sure. Cam, are you familiar? You're basically real familiar with John Byrne's work, right?
No.
You said no?
No, I feel like I got like trapped. It's like y'all had the cheat sheet to study.
Bro,
before the show. I'm like,
there's definitely some books that you've collected.
I'm pretty sure I do have some, but I don't think I really like have ever really paid attention to the writers or
the artists.
The
You were
artists
just
on
engaged in the
which
actual
is
story.
probably it's a shame on my part, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I've seen his work quite a bit. I saw that it was on there for like Vinny was saying, for like Fantastic Four, as well as the Uncanny and X-Men and Nova for a lot of the comics and stuff. But they're like issues I've read before, but I don't think I really paid attention that he was the one that was actually behind them though.
Yeah, bro. Like you be surprised, like literally, like even like the double-sized X-Men issue that had like both in which I had this issue with both Cyclops and Jean Grey on the cover, just like the battle hardened, battle damaged version, bro. I love that book. He was responsible for the death, the book that he drew on the death of Jean Grey. So bro, like literally he is iconic. Definitely an iconic artist. Some of the stuff that he pulls off is phenomenal, bro. Like, so I'm pretty sure like there's a lot, but you'd be surprised, Cam, like there's a lot of people who are so submersed in writing. I mean, and just the story sometimes. And even like, when I was young, I was guilty of the same thing. I never really followed the artist or really followed the writer until I got a bit older, and I wanted, like when I used to kind of mimic certain styles, like when you start drawing yourself,
right? Yeah,
you'll mimic the style of that artist. So you want to know who that person is, who your inspiration comes from, and that's when I got more involved in the artist, the writers, because the thing is, it's like sometimes it's like, like when you're a musician, like us being like, producers, and when you're in music and you finally learn how to read notes because you've been playing for so long by ear or producing by ear, that when you start learning music and you start writing and you get submersed in it, then you know who wrote what, or you start hearing like certain sounds and influence, or who might have actually wrote, and scored this piece. So that's just how it is in comics. Like you start to get familiar with the artist, so then you know their work, or that there's interpretations of another artist who might have been influenced by that person. So again, bro, like don't feel like you by yourself, because there's a lot of people out there that are the same way until they start really reading the artist and knowing like who the writer is, and they're like, oh, okay, this person did that, and it doesn't get as confusing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Is Brendan? Are you eating cereal or Sour Patches?
He's okay.
He's the Sour Patch King, bro. You've been missing
I
it the last couple weeks.
Sour Patches or Sour Patch box of cereal.
That's the butt naked box too. All day. So
yeah, those are special.
He's the king, bro.
He's
the king.
Are special. Brendan, since we are here with you while you have your butt naked box of Sour Patch Kids, how has your boy fucker?
No, John Byrne. Funny thing is, before that, but if you grew up in the 90s, 80s, 90s, or if you were reading comics then, you've come across so much of his work, whether you realize it or not. And most of the attention outside of like hardcore comic heads, you know, most of the attention goes to Chris Claremont, for example. And like, I mean, obviously he's a legend and deserves a lot of that attention. But you wouldn't have Days of Future Past or the Dark Phoenix saga if it weren't for John Byrne working with Chris Claremont. We wouldn't have the character of Sabretooth, right? Which was, you know, launched in, you know, in an Iron Fist comic, not in an X-Men comic, and people don't realize that. A lot of people just don't read Iron Fist comics because they got put off by the Netflix show. I'm telling you, don't let that deter you. Like it that's not what is in the book. But yeah, a lot of people think of DC stuff for you know, when they think of John Byrne, and that's fair. But for me, it's all Marvel, it's all X-Men. The majority, I mean, other things too, but the majority is X-Men. I mean, you think about like, I think Kitty Pryde. I love the character of Kitty Pryde. Now today, like Kate Pryde. I think she's one of the most underappreciated mutants in all of Marvel Comics. But you look at the sheer badassery of like, you know, characters that he co-created, like, you know, Vinny mentioned earlier. I mean, Omega Red, Bishop, you know, just like fucking characters with some swag. They're just like badass characters, and he started that ball rolling. And I think people underestimate the people just tend to think, okay, like this artist like did a really good job, but like this story was all the, you know, the writer's idea, and they don't understand that there's a very collaborative nature in comics, and that if you've got the right team like Claremont and Byrne, you've got them working together to craft a story, and the artist is giving feedback based on what the writer is looking for, and then based on the artist's strengths, then the story may take shape in a slightly different way than, you know, the writer had originally intended, and it gets better. And when you have a really collaborative effort like John Byrne, because he's also a good writer, he can work well with others when he's on the art side. I think it really showed, because that Claremont run, that, you know, Claremont and Byrne run in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s is one of the best of all time. And so John Byrne, more so that I mean, there are tons of great artists out there who also contributed to the creation of new characters and to the writing of great story arcs. But when you think about one of the artists that made like the biggest contribution when it comes to those things, character creation, origins, and great stories like Days of Future Past, it's John Byrne. He's one of those seminal artists who like really got how to work with writers when he wasn't the one scripting it. I mean, he worked with Mike Mignola on the early Hellboy scripts. You know, like he's, when you look at Batman, Superman, Hellboy, you know, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Iron Fist, like he is just a really good creator, and he can work with just about any genre, just about any character. And again, odds are, if you don't know it, you definitely read stuff that he has contributed to in a big way. And like, you know, like Cam was saying, how he didn't necessarily know who, you know, was writing or drawing a lot of the books growing up. I didn't either when I was a kid. I knew what I liked, but today we have the internet. Today you can really dig a book and you can be like, shit, I really like, you know, Brian Michael Bendis, you know, this, what he just wrote on this. Let me go and look up other stuff. Oh, he wrote this, he wrote that. Boom. You can download it. You can buy it on Amazon, or you go to your LCS and you can pick up their stuff. Same thing with an artist. You know, you can, Alessandro Cappuccio, I really love his stuff on Moon Knight, so I'm going to go and I'm going to see what else he's drawn, and then that's how you then find new books to dive into, because you find series by an artist or writer that you just really enjoyed something they did, and you're like, I want to go and see what else they've done. and then you find new characters, you find new stories, stuff like that. It's a lot easier to do that today than it was when we were growing up, you know, in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. I mean, you didn't have just Comixology or Marvel Unlimited. You didn't.
All you had for info was Wizard.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Like that's what you know, and it wasn't. And also, if you're a kid growing up, it's like, and you've got limited money. Now we're adults; we can allocate our funds. When you're a kid and you don't have an endless supply, not that I have an endless supply of money now, but when you know you've got a very limited supply, it's like, do you go in to your comic shop and you put some of your money toward a Wizard magazine, or do you put it toward a Spider-Man comic book or something like that? So then it was like you didn't always have that knowledge about what was out there at your fingertips. It was really just word of mouth. And like if you had other friends who read comics and they read something that was different than what you read, and then you share notes, and then maybe you want to go pick that up or you borrow it from them, something like that. That's how, like, I mean, that's how when I was a kid, I'd be like, I'd pick up like XYZ, you know, somebody else would pick up like ABC, and then like, you know, you'd swap and you'd, you know, read each other's comics and stuff when you didn't have the money to go. Because I mean, like I've said this before, like last month alone, I think I spent like the equivalent of like a die-cast Iron Man on comics. Like, you know, I couldn't do that when I was a kid. So now that we can do that, this is the era where it's a lot easier to find those artists that you love, find those writers that you love, and then start seeking out other stuff that they do. And that's why I think this is the generation where the John Byrnes of the world are going to get more of that recognition. You know, you're going to have people, it's not always going to be like, oh, literally every character is created by Stan Lee and nobody else did anything. It's like, no, Stan is very important, but there are all these other people. You get more of that today where you actually have people that you can follow and that you can learn about. And I think more creators are going to start getting more and more credit now that we didn't see, you know, in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s.
Hell yeah, bro. And definitely the simple, and like I always loved, and which I'll get to you in just a second, Jedi Pimp. But before I bring you in, because like one of the biggest runs, even when it came to Superman, was always basically on his take between, and hit like one of the comics that I love was Superman versus Metallo, and how Metallo whooped Superman's ass, lumped him up, and it's how he like literally is how John Byrne drew that cover, like how he drew the whole book was incredible, bro.
That pissed off a lot of people too.
It did. It definitely did piss off because Metallo lumped him the F up. Like literally he did. Now, before we actually get to you, Jedi Pimp, just have to basically let people know what this show is sponsored by. Sponsored by my man Cam's Custom Gloves. Embrace the cheeks. Definitely you want to make sure you get those gloves any chance you get. Order them now for the winter time. Next Valentine's Day, you can actually get them gloves. Anyway, anyway, Jedi Pimp, bro. Again, you being a Superman fanatic, bro. I know John Byrne, you know what I mean, especially how he drew Superman, even though I know, you know, he did get your boy lumped up a couple times. What was your take on what's your influences on John Byrne, bro? Are you talking? Or did you freeze?
He's muted. He's muted.
You're muted, bro.
My bad. That whole Superman run that he did was pretty dope, except for that little spot with that Metallo. Was Metallo beat him up?
Whipped his ass, bro.
And there was somebody else that
couple people whooped his ass.
Yeah, it was some orange alien. I can't remember the name. It was a woman with the purple. She's from Apocalypse.
Was it Maxima?
His ass.
No, not Maxima. She wanted to marry that Joker, but not Maxima.
Yeah.
She was orange. Her face. Well, anyway,
she was
it was
orange.
just them two. Yeah. She's from Apocalypse with the purple outfit or whatever.
I forget her name, but I know you talk about now.
Yeah, she gave Superman some work. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What is this shit? Like, but his artwork, bro, and the colors and bringing Superman back. He started Superman with that shorter cape too. I think he started drawing with the shorter cape to the longer one. And then I liked also like his splash pages, bro. Like he was the king of the splash page, dog, especially with Alpha Flight. I didn't know who the hell Alpha Flight was until he started like the way he laid them out on their books and stuff like that. You know, it was pretty like it pulled you into him. Sasquatch and Puck and all. You're like, who the hell are these guys? But it was just the way he drew them and used the colors with those guys. Like it just made you want to go and get into the Alpha Flight stuff, man. Like, oh, it's another team of mutants other than X-Men, and they were good. Like I don't know, man. Just between the Alpha Flight stuff, Superman, and the Fantastic Four stuff that he did was always, yeah, come on, bro. Like those pages like that, I love to see like all the teams together on a page, bro. Like that kind of stuff he did to perfection to me.
And he was adamant about making sure that Storm had 0 pupils, bro. Like he wanted to make sure that she had the white eyes. He was one of the ones that pioneers of that, making sure that was present, bro. And I love it.
But that was when she was on her power shit. So of course she should have the white eyes then. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a dope picture of Storm, bro. Like nobody was doing splash pages like this guy at all back in the day, except for maybe Claremont. I guess it was on that same level as the splash page stuff. But like John was the truth. Like when it came to that, man. Like I said, he's the one that had me starting. I got in the Alpha Flight a little bit like back in the day because I like the way the covers will pull you in. If you think you put them by a cover, like if a cover is dope enough to say, oh man, okay, I like how he did that. I like those colors, the colors that he used. I'll pick it up. I would pick it up, you know, as a kid. But he pissed me off with the Superman stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of the ones that Metallo shit had me a little hot back in the day. I ain't gonna lie.
His ass. Look at that.
Yeah, but you know what? What's the one big criticism of Superman that people have is that he's OP and that like it's too right. And John Byrne at least gave him something to overcome. He at least gave him some vulnerability to deal with it, kind of humanized him and made him more relatable to readers.
Well,
so it's like some people really hated it, but it also opened the door to a lot of people who weren't reading Superman too.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence.
Bro, it's okay. It's okay. Like
I'm on the fence. I don't like nobody bother Superman, bro.
Everybody gets their ass whooped every now and then, bro. And it was just his time and John Byrne.
He had a kryptonite heart, man.
I mean, bro.
That's the only reason I give him that, because his heart was kryptonite. That's it.
That's a big point, though.
Yeah, it's true.
It's only in the movies where it's only in the Snyder movies where kryptonite is just an inconvenience to him.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
It's supposed to damn near kill him. It's not.
In the comics now, it doesn't bother me anymore at all in the comics now. So I'm loving this run of Superman. He's not even allergic to it anymore. So I'm good with that.
Whooping like a man, bro. He had to.
Well, he got it. I give y'all that.
Stronger, bro. But that's
why he had this and Doomsday. That's all I need. That's it. There's 2. It's good. It's good now.
Bro, it definitely is. But anyway, that's our celebration of the man John Byrne, bro.
No doubt.
And people out there, like I said, you have the comics in your collection, you just don't know it.
Yeah.
Again, this is why we do shows like this, to get you familiar with the artists and the books that you basically have in your collection. Also, just to let you know that sometimes Superman gets his ass whooped.
Come on, bro. Come on. Calm down. Calm down.
Yes, bro.
Calm down.
But anyway, man, again, go out there, always celebrate your artists. It's our job each and every week to highlight the artist, and we pick one each and every week. So glad about that. Now, let's move on to the main event. Cam, one that I know you've been waiting to talk about for the longest time, bro. You've been waiting since you basically went to the preview. Like, bro, you saw this movie how many weeks ago was it?
No, I saw it a week and a half ago. I think.
Week and a half ago?
Oh, bet.
Week and a half ago, and you just couldn't talk about it. It was not in too much.
That's the hardest part, bro.
You had to wait. It's sort of like you had to wait. Now, I want to preface it this way before I even get to you, bro, because again, Vinny, bro, we go. First of all, let me say how good of a night it was up until the time we saw the film, though, because we were in a theater that the sound was kind of off, but at least we still heard enough. No.
Before you said, I don't think your theater was off because it was in mine too. The opening with like Gwen, like you could barely hear what she was saying, and then there was like 1 or 2 other parts later on. and I was in a Dolby theater too, and I
Yeah.
heard from
Yep.
multiple people in all different types of
It's been all over
theaters.
Twitter, and there's been articles.
Yeah,
about it.
I think
Mhm.
it's just the
Mhm.
sound design and the sound mix of the movie itself. So I'm hoping they fix that when they release it on digital.
Me too.
Because I don't think it was the theater mix; it was the actual movie mix.
Yeah, it wasn't a theater,
which was unfortunate. But yeah, because
Yeah.
I experienced that same thing.
Yeah,
Well,
the opening with Gwen, it sounded like you were somebody talking to you in the club in their regular.
Yeah, I
seat.
was struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, bro. But I definitely enjoyed it. I had such a good time.
Oh yeah.
Vinny, I'm gonna turn it over to you real quick. I want to get your take on it, and then we're gonna talk to Cam. I got to go up and get this light turned back on. But Vinny, what's your take on it, bro?
I love the first film. The first film was one of the best comic book movies of all time. Certainly, arguably the best Spider-Man movie of all time. It's hard for me to really kind of compare it to the live action joints, but if you did, it's up there. And then knowing Sony, I was really worried because it felt like they didn't really know what they had, and they just let the creators take care of it. And I was worried like they were going to be like, "Oh shit, people like this, made money. All right, we'll take it from here, folks." But that doesn't seem like what happened at all. It looked like everybody who worked on this movie, from the catering to the director, seemed like they were like the biggest Spider-Man fans you've ever met. Every single piece of this film was just like a labor of love, from beginning to end. All the crew, everybody, all of us who were there, just kept looking at each other like, "What are we witnessing?" It wasn't just a film; it felt like an event. This was one of the greatest movie experiences from a comic book fan since I was a child. My first favorite superhero was Spider-Man, and we've seen a lot of great Spider-Man, some bad Spider-Man, but nothing that dove as deep into the different Easter eggs and references and lore. Like, it's just chock full of just so much source material. It's just insane for a character that's relatively new. But because of Spider-Verse, you get all these different ways that you can show their appreciation and for the one of the greatest characters, if not the greatest of all time. The animation, again, as an artist, like, the animation blew me away from start to finish. Not just how great the animation was, but the cleverness of the way that the animation was. For instance, each had different color palettes based on that person's identity or their mood.
Emotions.
So there was emotions. It like, everything about the movie was like, there was no accidents. Everything was by design. So the color palettes of a particular scene, or when they were focusing on an individual character, was focused and designed around them. And then there was, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, there was different animation styles for different characters. Like, Spider-Punk's animation was different than Miles and everybody else's. It looked like you had, like, I was just speechless. I was sitting there with my jaw on the floor, like, yo, did they draw? Did they draw Spider-Punk's different than they drew everybody else? And then they did the same thing with, like, other characters. Like, there was different characters. Like, they drew Ben differently than they drew, or Kenan, like, the different Jessica drew. Like, they do. Everybody had their own art style, and just all blended together. The art was phenomenal. The what really shocked me, though, was the story was so freaking ambitious. It's like, obviously, as comic book fans, we kind of tend to, like, expect they're going to make films dumbed down, or big giant stories that we know as epic sagas. Kind of like they're gonna spoon feed the audience when they bring it to the screen, and tone it down, because, like, no one thinks that a casual fan is going to want or digest something so, like, epic. But they had just a ridiculous, like, there was so much going on. The pacing was insane, because it was just non-stop story. Like, the story was just so incredible. There was so much amazing stuff going on between Spot and Spider-Man 2099, and with Miguel stuff was just insane. Spot stuff, like taking a character that has always been a joke, and most comic book fans are like, he's a joke, but that character is amazing. If he was smarter and more clever, like he'd be dangerous as shit. Like a lot of fans have always said that about Spot, and of course that's what they did with him. They made him super dangerous. Um, the composition and the design, character design that they kind of tweaked on Miguel's costume was absolutely insane. Him standing on a roof with the welcome sign in the back, and then everybody else showing up, the angles, the just everything about the animation and the story of and the point of Spider-Verse and the way they handled the multiverse and the way they handled the ramifications and the seriousness of the way that Miles had to go through his the different intersecting things that all the different Spider characters had to go through their change of events was super interesting and creative in a time where a lot of multiversing is going on across the comic book community and films, and some of it's good, some of it's great, some of it's like really like what the fuck are they doing? And this was super interesting. It's super interesting and a great take on it. And then we had the finale that like it ends with a cliffhanger that some people are upset that it the way it ended, but to me, I love that. They filmed it all together. They did it all together. We're not even gonna have to wait a year to get the rest of this, and I love that there's so much that they couldn't even fit it into one movie. And to me, I'm looking at it as like when this is all said and done, when this third one comes out, you are really going to have a strong argument for one of, if not best, comic book trilogies of all time. So if you think Guardians has that spot now, like that might not last very long, because this was incredible. The first one was incredible, and it adds a lot of questions about live action that I'm very fearful for, and I really do not trust live action Sony to handle this anywhere near as well as what we're seeing with the animated division. But just like with DC, with their animated division, there's the people there get it, care about these characters, love these characters, and all that poured out onto the screen in droves. And from start to finish, this was like such an amazing labor of love. I just wanted to watch it again the second the movie ended, and that is like such a great feeling to have as a comic book fan, because we don't always get wins, and this was one of the biggest wins we've ever had as a community of fans of source material being, truly adapted properly. And there's just so much for us. And that's one of the greatest things, that like when you watch a movie and you like, oh, they did this one like for us, like what we would like, and then it made like 4 or 5 times as much as the first one did. So when they do it for us and then everyone loves it, it just makes you feel like, see, we told you, like,
work.
Love the source material, respect the source material, tweak the source material, but don't shit on the source material and think you can do better, and do it right, and you can get some really special moments. And that's what we got here. This is an incredibly special film, and it makes sense to be up there in the conversations that people are having with this, as lumping it in with some of the live action films that are nearly untouchable. This is in the conversation. If you want to compare live action to animation, you have to put this in the conversation.
Yeah, it is, bro. I think, and then I'm gonna move on to you, Cam, next. I think one of the biggest for me in watching the film in general, bro, was no matter how many characters you had on screen,
it never felt wrong.
It never felt wrong, and each character had space to breathe, and there was an attribute that they brought to the character. Characters that you weren't even familiar with, you were anytime you watch a film and you're so interested in that character that you got to go back, read source material, even to find out, number one, this character was interesting as hell. Yeah. For us, the comic book reader and the average reader who knows about the Spider-Verse, we'll be like, okay, yeah, this character is such and such. But for people who don't know, they'll basically want to go back home and study and be like, so this character really does exist. Yes. this character does exist. It's a certain interpretation. For instance, when you talk about Spot, a lot of people don't know that Spot was a character, obscure character in the comics.
Yep.
He didn't really have a lot going on, but it was so brilliant. But even us knowing in the comics, it makes sense to bring this character into this world because of the simple fact that you're talking about the multiverse. Right. You're talking about the simple fact that there are different iterations. And if you want to have one person that can travel through and has a way to get to different spaces and can cause so much havoc, it made so much sense to bring this character in. But bro, it was incredibly done. I know that there was a lot of pushback on this version of Spider-Woman, but it made sense.
It made sense.
Perfectly good sense why they.
How about the irony that there was so much controversy about using this version of Spider-Woman, and she was so.
She was integral to the story, bro.
Well, not only that, she wasn't even that big of a a part of the story. Like I feel like kind of the opposite. Like I feel like even if you didn't like using that version of her, like there was so much else going on, it was really easy to not have that. Like
she had very little screen time.
Right.
Really
if you didn't like her, you couldn't be mad because they used her
took a meaty
just
role
enough
away from another character.
Exactly.
Right.
If you didn't like using her, it's not like you had to sit there and put up with not that decision throughout the whole film. Like she had a part to play, and then she pushed the story along in an important way, but then it wasn't in your face. Like they managed time so extremely efficiently between all these different characters, and you would think because all of us have complained about too many people in a superhero movie before where they try to add too much shit in, and it was almost like they couldn't have too many characters in here because every time they switched focus to somebody else, it was like just the right amount to keep the story pushing
to keep it going forward.
And you never felt like man, like, all right, hurry up, get back to Miles. You never felt like hurry up, get back to Gwen. You never felt like hurry up, get back to Spider. What's Miguel doing? It's so it's so juggled so tremendously. It feels very much like Civil War or Infinity War, where like they bounced off so many different characters in that, but at no point do you feel like, all right, whose movie even
one's overhauled, right?
Yeah,
right.
Like let's just throw these in there just so that way we can get
that way. It was never basically that way. I think Jessica Drew's the reason why her placement was important because she was the communication. She was that person who, at this point, did not fear Miguel. Like
she got through Miguel. She kind of controlled him a little bit too.
If she had to stand up to him, bro, she would.
Yeah.
But also she went to bat for Gwen's character. She was one that basically went to bat for that character instead of.
She was almost like the Peter B. Parker to Gwen.
Yeah,
Peter Parker was Miles in the first
Exactly.
She was that mentor. She was that person that kind of guided Gwen and helped settle her and took her under her wings. So again, there was a lot to go off of with that character, but I think in general, each character had a placement and they had a role to play, and it was important. Cam, you watching and being able to actually go back and and to see the film for the first time, because I know basically when you saw it, you also did like a review with your boy.
Right.
I know at that time there was a lot you could not say. But this is a spoiler-free conversation. You can spoil because this is where we at right now. But what was your take on it, bro?
Yeah, man. So going into the film, like you guys already said, the sound I thought was low, but obviously it's a universal, global issue that's going on with how it was produced and created. I was actually star-studded at when you actually look at the list of how many stars are actually in this film. I mean, the list goes on and on. You got Issa Rae, Daniel Kaluuya, Jake Johnson, Brian Tyree was in there, Oscar Isaac. But they were all.
Do you know who was the voice of Scarlet Spider?
Yeah, it was Adam Sandberg, right?
Andy Samberg.
Sandberg, yeah.
What?
Yeah, so many people didn't realize they kept it quiet. They didn't put him
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
IMDb or anything beforehand. They just they're like, wait till you see or hear who voices, and then when you hear it, and you're like, oh shit, damn, yep, that's Andy Samberg.
I didn't even know that in the first film, Into the Spider-Verse, that the original Peter Parker that died in the movie was actually
Chris
Chris
Pine.
Yeah.
Yes, Star
I
Trek.
didn't know that.
Yep.
I was like, oh,
What?
such a
Yeah.
quick, such
Yeah,
a
that's
quick
Captain
role.
Kirk. That's Steve
I didn't
Shepard.
know that. I didn't know that, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, but they,
Man.
I mean, the list goes on and on as far as like stars that they've had in this film. But I honestly, like Vince said, the storyline was really, really good from
Yeah.
the end. I love how so in the first film they decided to add in a little bit of Latino influence, right? Like in the movie where his mom would like say little statements here and there. But I feel like this film really predominantly showed off the Puerto Rican influence.
Yeah.
In the city.
Getting a B in
Yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like really, really big and huge to show like a different cultural aspect.
Yeah.
To Miles to see, he's half black and half Puerto Rican. He's
Half
not
Puerto Rican.
black,
Mhm.
So it really shined on that feature about him. And I will say this, I can say this about the Transformers film. So the mom that is the actress that plays Miles's mom is actually in Transformers 2 is the other mom that's in that film too, the main character.
And New York Undercover.
I was gonna say New York Undercover. For anybody from the '90s remembers that.
Yeah.
Watching that on USA. Yep.
And I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on this month, but it feels like Brooklyn is being put on in 2 movies back to
Brooklyn.
back.
Yeah.
Transformers, and then this film too is like boom, boom, man. It's like hip hop influence in both of these films is crazy.
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how they feature all these different types of animation and how they were all different for each entire Spider-Man, from Lego Spider-Man to Disney XD Spider-Man.
The Lego one was hilarious. Yeah.
The Lego one was hilarious out there. But the whole film, honestly, from beginning to the end, was really good. I did miss seeing the Spot in the third act of the film. I felt like he was from 1 to 2. He was in the film quite a bit as like the main antagonist, but then it kind of switched over to Miguel. After that, because the mission kind of changed for what was going to happen. I feel like the last 25 minutes of the film was kind of like stringed out quite a bit, but to be able to figure out that there's another Miles out there, I think that was a good continuation to it, though. Along with the spoilers, not spoilers, the cameos that were in this film were crazy. Being able to see Donald Glover as the Prowler.
The Prowler, yeah.
Crazy and dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, all around, I thought it was such a great film. And if you guys haven't already, I would check out the soundtrack. It was produced by Metro Boomin. It's crazy, bro. A$AP Rocky is no longer a babysitter. He's back on top at this point. That's all I can say.
Bro, listen, like it. What's the beauty of this film, and the character I love the most, honestly, like I definitely love Spider-Punk and how they basically use like the iteration of that character was like just different clippings, like different.
Yeah, gray, blue.
Did you see how long it said it took them to film that?
What'd you say?
So for Spider-Punk alone, they said it took them 2 to 3 years to film Spider-Punk alone.
What?
Wow,
that's amazing. He really like. He's one of the people who stole the show, and the whole part is like, just think about how true it was to the character. He didn't really give a shit about none of them or what they was doing. He just he wanted to help. He wanted to help a homeboy out, and as soon as he did, he dipped.
Yeah, he said, "You know what? I gave my resignation. I'm out."
Bro, like
he helped the brother and was like, "All right,
I'm out. Peace."
He definitely played the back like the entire time.
Yeah,
just his movement lets you know that he wasn't really in on this whole situation, and that he had his hangups. He was trying to let Miles, in which sort of like you can see like he might even for the future just play some type of mentor role to Miles to kind of let him know.
Yeah,
totally different side. But the Spot, the directors did say that the Spot's character, if there's no holding back in the next film, like he's gonna go nuts.
You can feel that his shit was coming.
The way that power affected his body, you can tell in the next film he's going to be a complete beast. No joking, no nothing.
Bro, just him peeking his head in the different spots, like that could have been a 2-hour movie itself. Just it was so dope.
Going through the different realms. Butt Naked, I know that you go early, and motherfucker, he goes early to see these fucking movies, right?
Yes, sir.
And then what he'll do is like, yo. He don't say shit. He won't tell you nothing. But he like, yo, goddamn. And I'm like, bro, don't say shit. Don't say nothing. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it. You didn't say nothing. You didn't say nothing, but it was just mainly the sheer excitement.
Wait. Oh, I smell some bullshit. I sent you a text that just said, "Fuck."
Yeah, that's it. You were like,
and
fuck.
You came back. You started sending me questions. Is it the best thing that Marvel's put out in the last year? Is it better than No Way Home? You say you don't
can't say nothing.
You're
you can't say nothing,
questions.
bro.
That's it.
You're texting me
That's
questions.
It.
You can't say nothing, bro.
Specifically about the movie,
and I didn't say anything specific about the
movie. You didn't. I said you didn't say nothing, but it was the sheer excitement of seeing it.
It's no legit. So, first of all, yeah, like Spider-Punk, I fucking loved. If for no other reason than it will get motherfuckers to start hopefully properly pronouncing that name, because the number of people that I hear pronounce his name Hobby Brown drives me like he's fucking Bobby Brown. Drives me. It's H-O-B-I. It's Hobie.
Hobie Brown, bro.
Alternate version of dude from the 616. Hope like. This is not. I don't know why people call him Hobby. It was driving me fucking nuts. But hopefully this alleviates that. That shit drive me nuts. I love the art style, like for him, but the art style across the board was phenomenal. I loved how the paint would run in the background of Gwen's universe when she was dealing with the emotions of what was going on with her father and stuff. The way that the actual environments reacted and the colors and the textures reacted to the situation in the movie at that time is something that you can do in comics that we've never seen done like that on camera before, on screen. All right. And so to see that and to see, because one of the things we love about comics is that you read one book and you get one art style. You read another book and it's a different creative team and you get another art style. And we got to see like 50 different art styles in one movie. But it never was disjointed. It never felt like you're all over the place. Like it never felt jarring and out of place. It was just great. I will say this is definitely the kind of movie that needs multiple viewings, because I know I'm in a Dolby Theater, a massive screen, and I missed so much stuff just because there's so much happening.
Tons of Easter eggs.
And it's one of the most kinetic movies I've ever seen.
Right. And so you know you're missing stuff. But I don't necessarily look at that as a negative, even though I knew that there was stuff that I missed, because it just makes you want to watch it again more. So I can't really fault for something that's, making me want to watch it again. And I mean, for example, I don't even remember seeing it. So I've got on my second rewatch, when I'm going to take my kids and stuff, there's apparently gameplay from the new PS5 Spider-Man 2 video game in the movie that I totally missed. So I got to go back and try and see where that was, because the Insomniac and the directors, they confirmed that. And I totally missed that. But when I was texting with Leia and he asked me those questions, he said, is it the best thing that Marvel has put out this year, or, in the last year? And is it better than No Way Home? I said 100% it's the best thing that they've done in this last year. I said on No Way Home, is it better? I have to. I can't answer that yet. I still can't. Because this movie requires multiple viewings. And it's hard comparing animation to live action. But I will say, is it the best? Is it the best superhero movie? I don't know. I'm not ready to say that. Is it the best Spider-Man movie? I think it might be, and I'll get to why. Because of the story. Is it the best comic book movie ever? Yes, hands down.
Yeah.
And the reason why I differentiate between like comic book movie or superhero movie, obviously not all superhero movies are based on the comics, but it's because they did stuff in this, like we talked about with the art style, the animation. they did stuff in this that is essential to comics and how we've enjoyed them for decades that you simply cannot do in live action. And so a live action Spider-Man movie, as good as it is going to be, there are certain things they did in this, like we were talking about with those textures of the backgrounds. It's just things that you're not going to get in a live action movie. At least they haven't shown us to date that they have a way of doing it. So as far as a straight comic book movie, is it the best representation of comic books and the experience that we get when we're reading the books in our hands? I think, yes, it is the best comic book movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And, this has a shot at maybe the best trilogy of, like, as far as like Marvel characters and stuff. We'll see how, the third one pans out. Right now, I don't give it to Guardians. Right now, I still think that Spider-Man, the trilogy in the MCU, is better than Guardians. But I think that the best trilogy in the MCU right now, in my opinion, is Captain America.
Captain America,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So to me, that is, that's where Spider-Verse is shooting. That's the king that you got to knock off. But it absolutely has a shot at it. So we'll see how this, the third movie pans out. And like Vinny said, we only have to wait like 8 or 9 months. It's not like we got to wait 3 years or something. So, so yeah, I do think that it is the best comic book movie as of right now. We'll see how things shake out, in terms of superhero. Again, like I said, I got to watch it at least. Well, I'm going to watch it like 100 more times. I got to watch it at least like 2 or 3 before I can make, a decision like that.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the con, I definitely would have seen it again this weekend. I can't.
Yeah. And so as far as like I know people said like, Spot was like, critical in the first 2/3 and then was kind of not really as big a deal in the third act. I agree with that, but I was okay with the way they did that and that speaks to why I think this is probably the best Spider-Man story that we've ever gotten on screen. And that's because this was a story about what it means to be Spider-Man. All right. And it's not specific to Miles. It's the same, with Peter, and it's the same with all the other, Spider-Men that, or variants that are in this movie and in comics. But it's that the nature of Spider-Man is that he's not going to say, well, I'm going to let that one person die for the greater good. I'm going to, I cannot live with that. I have to figure out a way to save everybody or I'm going to die trying. But that's it. And that's, I mean, any major story with Spidey, it's always like, no, Spider-Man finds a way, and that's always been core to his character, whether it's Peter, whether it's Miles, whether, and also I like how a lot of times we say, oh, this thing has kind of been done and it's a trope and stuff. But the idea of that like seminal moment, that catalyst that like everybody has to experience, and that being the thing that unravels the different universes, it gives you a reason why we see the same kind of origin stories over and over again, because and tying those things, it's like, yeah, okay, look, we know you've seen Uncle Ben die a lot. We know you've seen Captain Stacy die a lot, but this is because it's critical to this character, and they're doing that in a way that actually was touching and made sense in the context of this movie. So, and even seeing Andrew Garfield and Toby in those, in those glimpses and stuff into the other universes, I loved it. So I do think that they did a great job with that. And for that reason, like I said, I do think I think it's the best Spidey story that we've gotten, because it's germane to the core of what Spider-Man as a character is meant to be and has been for 60 years now. And as far as like animation and comic book movies. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people love the to be honest, I've had a mixed bag with a lot of the DC animated movies and stuff. But it's not even a contest to me that this blows everything that DC has ever done out of the water. Like, this is just, there's nothing better than this as far as, the animated side. But I will say, last thing is, this movie better not get a fucking Oscar nomination for best animated movie. It deserves a best picture nomination.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Fucking, I know, but it does, because they get 10 films can be nominated for best picture. I guarantee you there will not be 9 films this year better than this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie does not deserve a best animated feature Oscar. It deserves a best picture Oscar nomination, period.
Yeah, I think so. The biggest thing to me about this film, again, we talk about comic book adaptations. So this, as far as the best comic book sequel film, of how basically when you're watching this in its interpretation in film, it's like you're just watching the pages just turn.
Mm-hmm.
At it turn faster than when it usually would. Best live action interpretation is what you basically get from the MCU, which you get with most of the Sonyverse when it comes to, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, when it comes to like your Venoms and stuff like that. Okay. But this particular film, it carries weight because you're looking like, I never thought that I would be emotionally invested in characters and invested in a storyline through an animation series. Like, I was never invested the way I was in this film, and how basically, like, even like when Tui was talking about like the slow frames, like the freeze frames on certain things, how the color, the tone would change based on the mood of the actual character, how all of that basically sequenced in, and how incredible it was, bro. Like, I was even going back and seeing the second viewing and understanding, like, because it was crazy, because when I went back and saw it the second time, the voices were louder, but the music was lower. So it was crazy, but I didn't mind that, because I definitely wanted to see it that way. I wanted to hear, having it more focused on Gwen. It was just basically a journey. It was something I definitely loved. I think by the end of it, when we go from this particular film to Beyond the Spiderverse, and we tie all three together, it is no question, I think this would be one of the best trilogies I've ever seen. For me, and that's why I said mainly for me, it is one of the best comic book adaptations that I've seen, because of how they actually done it, because of the struggle that they gave each individual character. Like, each character, each character had a level of flaws. Like, I love the way they basically did Miguel's character. I love what we actually saw. Like, even like, you saw, like, even when the mood switched, you saw the shading from the right side of the face switch to the left. How they did certain sequences was incredible. I was like, yo, this is how you do it. And when we talk about the multiverse, bro, best interpretation of the multiverse, somebody said this yesterday, Cam, on the show. It was like, this is what happens when you let the creatives create and let them do their thing, and you don't interfere, and you just let them create. This is how you do things the right way. And like I said before, Lord and Miller gave a huge middle finger to Lucasfilm and Disney because of what they did to them. And they just showed you, like, yeah, fuck it. Fuck y'all. We're going to actually get over here and do something that we want to do, and we're going to give you a good story. And I thought that they did it. They crushed it. They killed it.
Sony needs to just turn over their whole Spider-Verse, like live action, everything to Lord Miller.
Let those guys do it.
Let them do it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. It felt like they stayed out of the way.
I haven't watched something in a while that even with like the music would change. Remember, like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember, but Miami Vice, like certain music would play, and it would be like a mood change, or you knew some action was going to happen, or you knew a person was going to get hurt or whatever, or somebody was sad. Yo, this movie, the way they used the music too, bro, like with man, I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was no. My only beef was the ending. I wanted more. I was greedy.
I knew that was what your problem was. I knew it.
I'm greedy.
I seen that 18. I said, "How much you want to bet?" It lost 2 points because he had to wait.
Yep. You know me, bro. I was greedy because.
But that's a good thing because that just means you want more of what they gave you. So
the story was so
not
good,
a bad
bro.
Thing. It's just you know, frustration, but
just greedy because because the story was so good. I wanted more. Bro, when we saw that the other Prowler was Miles, I was like, stop playing, dog. Yeah. They really went with the evil version. Yo,
this 2.5 hours was so full. It felt like a season of
full,
a show.
Bro. Full.
It felt like a season of it felt like a season of a show because there was just so much in there, and they did so many things. Like you talked about running with the like comic book feel, like there was narration boxes. Like
bro,
there's so much dope stuff.
I like that,
and there's so many. Like we even talk about like the Indian Spider-Man. Like yo, when his dad shook his hand, I was like, well done. In that culture, you know what that means to him? Like that's fucking
mad respect.
You know who was the voice of the Indian Spider-Man too?
Who was that?
Oh my god, he's the dude
guy
from
who was Bill Pinder from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Cab driver.
Yeah. Did you peep how the movie first started with the band? They were throwing Easter eggs right at you from the gate. The name of the band is the Mary Janes.
I loved that opening sequence and the way she
Mary
was
Janes
playing and how that was going.
Yeah.
Again, it was just a sound mix. It was just but I loved what they were doing there.
She was killing it with the drum solo, bro. I'm like, yo.
I have a question for the panel though.
The
whole obviously crux of the film is that he has to become who he is by
losing his dad.
An event like Uncle Ben and
the Cannon,
Captain Stacy, that Cannon event, like and that he doesn't want to have to go through that. But do you not feel like he already had that with his uncle?
Yeah, that's what I felt.
So I'm thinking like, well, how come he has to lose his dad and his uncle?
Right.
When not that Peter hasn't lost Gwen and Ben, maybe that's their point, that you gotta lose 2 or something. But that's never been it's never been like as part of the lore that it's always been he lost his uncle because he didn't respect his responsibility,
his powers.
I think that's what they're gonna do for the kind of resolution of why he doesn't need his father to die to be Spider-Man.
His brother, his uncle's gone.
Because it's because of what happened when he was bit in the first movie. It changed the rules. It changed, and then he went through that loss because if he hadn't been bitten by the spider, and somebody else would, then the Prowler, his uncle, wouldn't have died the way he did. But because he was working with the other Spider characters and stuff, and going up against the Kingpin and trying to stop him, that led to the Prowler dying, and it led to him losing his uncle that way. So he's already experienced it. They're just locked into it has to be his dad. It has to be the captain. Yeah. So I think that's how they're gonna kind of circle around to that.
It being from another universe of Spider might be the loophole he needs to not have to lose his dad too, because on one side it's really amazing.
It was meant for somebody else.
Seeing him have a nuclear family, like having a father and a mother, like giving him advice,
it's losing and becoming who he is. And then having the kind of Spiderverse turn on you.
We didn't see that selfishness from Miles that we seen and know from Peter, because Peter's first and his first gut reaction was to go like finally get some fucking money and go use it to pay rent and like to have some food. Like his first reaction was to go to use it like a lot of people would, to go try to go play sports or go be an athlete or do something like selfish with it, and then like not help somebody who needed help because of spite. And Miles didn't have that, so he didn't have to learn that lesson. He was already he already had it in him to not need that. Not that Peter wasn't already a good person, but he had like a bad moment, And then what Peter had to learn was like even one time I don't do the right thing, everything fall apart.
Somebody could die.
And then that made Peter like obsessed. Like that's why he's not Reed Richards, because he sits at home, listen to the police scanner when he comes home instead of inventing, because there might be one person that he hasn't saved that he doesn't want to lose the chance to save every single person he can. Miles has a different, approach to that because, of what he went through. I think that it's really, really strong how they, can have so many differences between each of these Spider-Man, but like still, with that chain have so many similarities and explain away why so many go through the same shit, not because it's repetitive or because it's like a trope, but because it's a necessary evil to become who you're going to become.
I think one of the biggest things, like when it comes to Miles, his connection to his uncle is because his uncle is what his father would never let him be, and which was himself.
Right.
He connected to the art, connected to the simple fact that he knew he was an artist. Right. He knew where, Miles's heart really, really was, where his dad is just not wanting him to make the same mistakes or make certain mistakes that his uncle might have made, or just anybody in general. He wants Miles to be something because he sees that potential. But of course, Miles would gravitate to someone who just lets him be who he is. It doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't love his dad. This is a simple fact that he has that certain level of freedom with his uncle, and his uncle was always something. We've always, all of us, have had
somebody like that
in our life that we admired the most because they let us. And it was the same for me. I had an uncle who basically saw my music side and allowed me to tap into that and fully supported that, regardless of his shortcomings. It wasn't that my dad wasn't a focal point in my life. It's just that I knew that my dad was a stern, strong Cuban dude who just basically for himself, he had his vision as to where he wanted me to be, and it didn't align with me. But I respected that. You know what I mean? That's just basically how it was. But I mean, for Miles, like you said, he wasn't thrusted into a world where he didn't have, because he had certain things. He had more of a life, or more of a fortunate life than Peter did. But it was lessons that he had to basically learn. And that was the beauty of it. On top of that, like he's dealing with a character that he loves, but is not from the same universe. So it's just, it's crazy. Like it's crazy how that dichotomy works, but it was just beautiful to see. And then on top of that, bro, I went into it with a fear. My biggest fear was like, yo, please, for the life of me, do not kill Miles's mom. Don't do that shit.
I was scared about that the whole movie, bro.
Cam, you wouldn't say shit, but I was like, yo, that shit fucked me up, because I was like, yo, please do not kill his mom.
Especially when they had that scene with them two talking, like, and you know how movies are. If they go out of their way to pay, spend a lot of time on a certain character, it's like, okay, they setting us up to really care about her, so that it hurts more if she dies. And I'm like, nah, don't play with me.
Yeah.
That's Cam, that's two fucking films.
I was scared the whole movie, bro.
Was with Guardians of the Galaxy. And I thought somebody was
going to die. Same question.
It was this one.
Nope.
Not sure.
Nope.
I didn't think they were gonna kill them. Personally, I didn't think they were gonna kill him because one, they killed his dad in the game.
The
Tony game. And I was like, I feel like they're gonna want to do their own thing. They're not gonna want to, they might, they'll do the head fake, but I feel like they're not going to want to do the same thing that happened in the video game, because that video game was so massively popular. So many people played it that a lot of people know that, and I think they were looking for it. And I don't think Lord Miller wanted to just give everybody what they were expecting. So I was I didn't think that he was, especially with, you look at, the trailers where, it made it seem like, when his father was falling, that like, oh, that's the moment and stuff. Like they tried to make you think that. So I thought it was a head fake. So I was happy that they didn't do that. And also his parents are both alive in the comics right now. And I think, like Vinny had mentioned, like seeing him with that kind of nuclear family, seeing him with that support base, it also differentiates him from Peter. Like, don't make him you know, being raised by like a single parent or aunt or uncle or something like that, like, you know, like Peter, don't like give him his own story and his
Yeah.
own path.
So-
And I think that's what they did.
Yeah.
So I want to go into a space because I was kind of thinking about this the other day after watching it a second time. And it kind of saddened me because I'm like, I hope they do not go this route. I hope they don't. Because there's always placement and there's a reason for everything. There's always a reason for fucking everything in this film. One of the funniest scenes to me, but also looking towards the future, one of the most heartbreaking scenes for me was when what was his name? Peter B. That has a baby. Peter that has a child.
Peter B. Parker.
Oh yeah.
Was trying to get Miles to hold the baby. He's like, hold the baby. That'll help calm you down. Just hold the baby, whatever. At the end of the fucking movie, bro, when Gwen goes to get him, he was like, don't tell your mother, whatever. He's like, let's go, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going to speculation zone. I'm just follow me here, bro.
But when she pulled the fucking mask down,
I loved it. I loved it. A little Mayday.
Just going to speculation zone, and I don't like to do this, but it would break my heart if Peter B. Parker dies and the first time that Miles gets a chance to hold the baby is that moment when he has to become the mentor. Because remember, he said, I had this baby because of you.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
you. The reason why I had it. If that shit happens in the next film, bro, I would lose my mind. I'd be like, yo, nah, bro. Please.
No, they're not gonna do that to Miles.
They better
it's,
not.
no, you know what? That's not out of the realm of possibility.
That's
though.
a good
Because-
scenario, but
Because
I
it
can't
could
see
very
that.
well be him dying that is that seminal like maybe they say
Oh,
it's
his
not
canon.
Aaron. Maybe
Yeah.
it's Peter B. Parker
Yeah.
being like the Uncle Ben to, you know, to him, the mentor, the guy who's trying to teach him the right way. Could be him dying and Miles then years down the road being the mentor for Peter's daughter.
And
Yeah.
imagine him.
Oh.
She grows up.
Cam, what were you going to say, Cam? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say no. I mean, that could easily happen because, as far as what we know so far, the only reason that the original Spider-Man died is because Miles, right?
Yeah.
In an event, so it's like he wouldn't have died if not. So maybe having this baby now is setting himself up for his own demise at the end, which was
But damn, that's a lot to put on this kid, though, bro. Two Peter Parkers dying on him.
I
That's
hope they don't do that, bro.
that's too much, man.
It's a
But
lot in
it
this.
very well
painful,
could happen.
bro. I know it could, but it's just like I don't want that to happen
I
because
loved.
I
that
hope
they
nobody from
showed-
Sony is watching this podcast because I don't want them to do that, please.
They already made the
because-
movie, so we don't like. It's
Oh
already.
God.
Well,
I hope that don't
I
happen.
loved that we saw the original team from the first movie in that ending
Mhm.
because like people were even asking like Nicolas Cage like, hey, are you in Across the Spider-Verse? And he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. Like, and it's true he wasn't. But people were pissed. Like, what? You dropping Spider-Man Noir? He was like one of the favorite characters.
Yeah, Noir. Yeah. Mhm.
There's a reason they didn't. There were already so many characters and so many things that they didn't need to have him in that just to. But then they bring the rest of the team back from the original movie, and I loved how that. And then you saw, even though we don't hear Nicolas Cage, you see Spider-Man Noir. And you're
Spider-Man
like,
Noir.
all right, fuck yeah, he's gonna be in the third movie along
Mhm.
with like Spider-Ham and the rest of them. So it's like, all right, I dug that. I loved that. It was a good way that it's like technically Spider-Man Noir was still in the movie,
Mhm.
and we're gonna get him, in the next one. So I was really happy when we saw that. And then even though I knew that there were no post-credit scenes, I still stayed for like all of it because the art was
Me
so
too.
good
Yeah, me
on
too.
that
bro.
closing credit sequence. Once that was done and it was just a regular scroll, then I
Yeah.
pieced out. But
Yeah.
like
hey,
I knew there was no after credit sequence, but that credit sequence was so good.
Yeah.
they didn't. So apparently I missed the moment that I was pissed at, but I'm glad I seen in the second film is when I'm a fan of your work. I heard it in the film finally because I missed it during the first go round.
Yep.
I was like, okay, now I got it, bro. Like it was definitely but bro, like I would say honestly, to me, this is some of the best animation I've ever seen.
I think so too, man.
Oh, it's
color.
hands down the best.
And with some angles, bro, that shit like real people in some angles, man. Like, yo, what the hell?
It
looks
was so
like it looks
crispy,
real.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
The color was so crispy, bro.
Mhm,
It was crispy through the entire film, and their choice, like just the main choices, bro, I thought was phenomenal. Now I will say this. Yes, I love Miguel Herrera. I loved his story, but I am still not getting that fucking Hot Toys figure. Hell,
Oh God, no.
no, I'm still not getting
That's
it.
a $200 some Marvel Select figure, Marvel Legends
Beauty,
figure.
son.
Like,
It is beauty.
I'm not doing that, bro.
Beauty, son. I'm not
Yeah.
getting that. It's
Nah.
not gonna happen.
Nah.
I'm not getting it. I'm fine with my $20.99 that I have from the video game.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's the
Wow.
one you need. Yep.
That's
the one you
only
need.
one I need.
Right
That's
there.
all
That's
I
what
need.
you need.
I'll get a Moon Knight head sculpt or something for him and call it a day.
Yeah, definitely. So
Oscar Isaacs.
hell yeah. So I want to
Yeah.
close this out by I'm gonna go around really quick. Starting with you, Cam. What is your rating for this film, bro?
I give it a 9. It's definitely a 9. For
Is it a
sure.
9?
Yeah. It's a great film. Great film.
Yeah.
Definitely a must see. I had to lie to my daughter and tell her I haven't seen it yet. So
Oh, she know now.
nah, she's only 6. She
Okay. I'm about to say, you know now.
6 years later. He's like, wait a minute.
It's like, nah, he'll
That's her villain origin story. She can watch this when she's seen like you lied to 6-year-old me.
He lied to me.
Yeah, Bendu, yeah, New York, they look crispy, bro. They made it look so dope. Also, I didn't real quick. Did you know who the voice of Miles was? His alternate version?
Nah.
It was Jarrell Jerome, the dude who basically played in the Central Park 5. He was also in what was it called?
What?
Yeah,
I
Jarrell.
thought it was the same. I thought it was the same dude.
I thought it was the same dude.
Nope, it was Jarrell
But
Jerome.
his voice was a lot more like he had a lot more
House.
like Puerto Rican accent.
Yep,
House.
Jarrell.
Damn,
I did not
bro.
know that until I looked at the credits and I was like, oh, he was in it. Yep, Jarrell Jerome, bro.
That's dope.
That was so dope. But they sound similar.
Yeah.
He had more of a Latino, and they used him specifically because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, great choice. And he sounded good. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Personality, even the way he looked, was something that Jarrell
Gangster.
was, bro.
Yeah.
Looked, bro, like I was like,
I love it. I love the callback because now you know why she was like, "Well, what you do with your hair?"
Yeah, bro, definitely. But Vinny, what's your rating for this film, bro?
All right, now my rating usually goes with like with my rankings. Like I need to see it at home properly with the right audio, right visual. So right now it's a 9, but that's a penciled in 9. If they fix that audio mix and I get to see it as clear as it will be at home and it's bass like it should be at home, that might even go 9.5. Nothing's a perfect 10, but I feel like it'll jump to a 9.5 once I get to see it properly. But for now, 9.
Hell yeah. Jedi Kids, your rating?
8.9999999. Only because I wanted more at the end. I don't like being to be continued. But the movie was perfect. I mean, I enjoyed it, man. That's my only gripe. I just got greedy at the end and wanted more. So 8.99.
Brendan?
Well, like Spunkadelic said on the original Ninja Turtles soundtrack, 9.95.
Nice.
Damn. I'm the only person on this fucking panel because I saw it twice. Give it a 10 out of 10 because I loved it. Plain and simple. I give it a 10 out of 10.
I give it a 9.95. Goddamn, you're making it
That's
sound
close.
like I took a
That's
fucking
close.
10 out of 10.
That's close.
10 out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10. I loved everything about this film. I want to see it again. I'm going to see it again. Everything, the soundtrack, the color palette, just the storyline. Even without seeing the second, the second half or part 2 of the film, I love it.
My score was surely based on greed, bro. Just greed. I mean, I had to be honest.
Speaking of greed, though, what I want to happen, I really, really hope it does. After the third movie comes out, I want Marvel and Sony to like work together on it, and I want them to put out an omnibus that is like in print
man,
in a comic
yeah,
book, you know, all
yeah,
3 of the movies in one thick ass omni
that'd be
that
sick.
gives us everything that we just saw on screen, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to have it on the page. I want an omni of this
Yeah,
whole
that'd be
fucking
sick.
trilogy.
Hey, Vinny, I wanted to show you this too, real quick. Real quick.
Is it my picture you ain't sent me yet?
No, listen, hold up.
They are fire,
What
bro.
is it going to look like? It's supposed to come out in 2024, this next movie. So I'm intrigued. Let's see. Let's get.
I'm copping that, bro.
So there's going to be another pair, bro.
The spot joints? They're gonna
Yeah.
be spots?
They're dropping another pair. They're dropping.
Oh my god!
I was able to cop the pair from this movie because I definitely didn't get them in time for the last joint. I wasn't letting that happen again. So
Yeah,
I was glad I was able to get a pair for this version, and they're not as going as crazy as they was last time. So like, they must have made enough or released enough. But yeah, they definitely are smart enough to realize, like, think about like of all the collabs, like doing this movie with with Jay's is just it's a no brainer. Like why that more studios, more things that don't come together like that. I don't know, but I love that they working with it. Hopefully they keep that going because Adidas wasn't it. It had to be the J's.
nah, gotta be Jay's, bro.
I will say I liked the suit better in the first movie.
Yeah, the all black with the red underneath. I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, I didn't dislike the suit from this.
Me neither.
You know, but I liked how the spider symbol was like spray painted on the first one, and it was cleanly like printed on this new one.
Yeah,
right. But it had that like drip to it on the original that I felt was just more in keeping with his like artistic side too. So I liked the suit better in the first movie, and also the way they did the mask, because they went with like the slightly kind of rounder head and then the really big lenses in this one that is typically more used. I know like it fits because it's more used on like the younger style of Spider-Man character, but that felt like it would have been more appropriate in the first movie and less in this one. Because if you look at the lenses on this are huge.
They're big, yeah.
Right, but they're not in the first movie. They're not as big, so that's why I think the street clothes in the Hot Toy figure are better for this one. But I like the actual spider suit from Miles better in the first one than in this one.
Man, throw that middle figure away, bro. Throw that shit in the trash, dog.
Hell no.
That's garbage, man.
That would never happen. It's never going to happen.
They probably want like $300 for that figure, dog. Like that's insane, bro.
I think it's like $260,
$250 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
After tax and then getting it mailed.
But you know what? I legit saw. Look up Marvel Knights or Marvel Legends figure for $20.99 from this movie, and I'm telling you, it looks almost as good. It's just smaller.
That's crazy,
and it's going to be like $30 or $40. Like,
right.
People were like joking, "Oh, it's a Marvel Legend." No, it like legit. If you put the Marvel Legend and you're not like looking at scale, but you just have them side by side, like the Marvel Legends one looks almost as good as the Hot Toys one, and it's going to be like $230 less.
That's insanity, bro.
Yeah, they're still giving out Bobo.
It is pretty crazy.
But anyway, thank you guys for coming through, man. Such a good show. Cam, what you got coming up on your next show, bro? What can we see from you, bro?
Yeah, man. First time on here, bro. Appreciate you guys having me.
No doubt.
Always, bro.
So I'll be dropping a review tomorrow for Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So make sure you guys check that out. And then
I want to follow you.
Next week I'll be doing a review for The Flash on Tuesday. So excited, man. I think embargo for Flash drops like tomorrow around 3. So you'll see a lot of
Flash yet?
Nah, I'm seeing it next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I get to see the full version. A lot of people that are seeing the early screenings didn't get to see like the first 10 minutes of the film. So I guess they missed that part. So
yeah, the early screenings also didn't have like a post-credit scene or anything. Like they didn't even show credits. It just
they're just like bye, like get out. that's
yeah.
it.
So if there's a post-credit scene, people haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. But thank you for having me.
Man, I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you for being a part of the show. And coming
They only got to keep Ezra locked up 9 more days.
9 more days.
They got 9 more days, and then he's allowed out the cage. They're like, "You better stay in there. Don't fucking touch nothing. Don't look at nothing. You stay in the fucking house."
I don't even think it's 9 days. I think they want to keep locked up until like the home release.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, bro. They're gonna
stay away from all kids' parties.
Hold up,
because there's so much competition in the box office because you still got Indy 5 coming out, and then you got like they want to try and get as much they can.
Do you think they're going to have a red carpet event for this movie?
If they do, sick.
They're only doing one premiere.
Look, yo, all the press for The Flash has been Martin Scorsese loves this. Like Barack Obama has seen it and he loves this. Yo, they have it like Ezra out the house. Ezra, have you seen no Ezra?
Yeah, no. I've seen every actor at events. Like, what was the girl Sasha that plays
Sasha Kaye? Yeah,
she's been all of them, right? Ezra,
she's all over the market. It's her and Michael Keaton. Yeah, but that's it. They're only doing so. You know how they do like world premieres. They do like we're doing a London premiere. We're doing a Hong Kong premiere. Like they're only doing one premiere for this movie, and they're saying that it's because there's a big secret ending, whether it's a post credits or whatever, and that they don't want it. Like they're only doing one because they don't want it to be spoiled for all the others. But you know. That's complete horseshit because that's never been a concern with movies. Like they got big. It's 100% because it's like, look, we just want one premiere, so we only have one event where people are asking us, "Where's Ezra?" And
they're gonna wheel his ass out like Hannibal Lecter on the fucking
with the fucking mask, so he can't talk and can't say shit. Just like, nope. Yep.
Hell yeah, bro! Like, bro. Like it's gonna be something. It's gonna
Rosebud,
bro. Like if he's that good, and plus, you know, Muschietti already said that basically, which we didn't really touch on because he's now directing the Batman film.
Well, it's rumored. They haven't confirmed that that's what the rumor is right now. They haven't actually said yes, he is.
Well, I mean, it's close.
It could happen. It very well could happen.
If they put that out, that means there's some paperwork or something signed. Something has to, because if they putting that shit out there like that, but I mean, he's saying that already. The Flash 2 film was already written. So again, that's interesting. But if they unless there's going to be a big change at the end of this movie, it
was written before the whole merger and everything, though, and James Gunn, and so who knows?
So I'm wondering if basically Ezra's not going to. Well, they're going to probably write him out at the end of this film. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. Anyway, man, Cam, thank you for being here, bro. As always, Vinny, what's going on with you next, bro? What you got coming up, man?
Oh man, I am going down to see family next weekend, so I got that coming up. I'm be flying for the first time, so I'm nervous about that. So yeah,
where at? Where's going?
North Carolina. So at least just a 2-hour flight, so that way it's you know, if I'm
when are you going?
Next weekend. Yeah, next weekend.
I think that's Heroes Con. I think that's
there's something down there for that. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of family shit I gotta do down there. I didn't realize there was a con going on down there, but
Heroes is one of the biggest cons too. I'm pretty sure that's next weekend.
Okay. I'll look into that. I got I got 2 months to get ready for the next con, so I'll just be, you know, working on some stuff for that. I got a few commissions that I want to catch up on, and a couple other projects that I've been putting on the back burner because of doing all this other stuff. So just looking forward to like catching up on reading and all the stuff that I haven't been able to get to because I've been focusing on being ready for Fan Expo Philly. So yeah, man, just excited for that. We just came off of Spidey. We got Flash coming up next week, and then or not next week, but the week after, like in a few days. And then
so kind of August.
Uncivilized Scoundrels, Star Wars. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's summer is just flying.
Summer's gonna be hot, bro. It's definitely gonna be hot, bro. So again, if you haven't already, follow Vinny and the link to his store is actually on his page, so make sure you do that.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
For being here, brother itself. My man, Jedi Pimp Smack, or our powder, baby powder Smack. What's going on with you, bro?
Nothing, man. Just waiting on these figures to come in. I got like 4 more coming. I forgot I got that the Toys Era Vultures coming. Still waiting for In-Art Joker, like I told y'all earlier, and it's another one. Oh, the battle damaged Mark 50.
Okay.
I went and pulled the trigger on that because I said,
Mark 85.
The Mark 85, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I said, I'm going to go ahead and get that because that's going to sell out too. I think people will start buying that more because that's the supposedly last Iron Man of Tony Stark version. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and grab that one too. And I think that's it. I'm training again for another shooting competition coming up in September up in DC. So I'm at the range on my Friday and Saturdays again. And that's it, bro. Cool.
As always, man, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
To have you here, brother. It's always bros here.
No
last but not least, Mr. Butt Naked. What's you got coming up, man?
Man, I've just been tearing through omnis and collected editions, and I have all of like last week's new books that I got to read before Wednesday when new stuff comes out this week too. But there's a lot of stuff that's come out recently for people. So if you're looking for a good Spidey book, we did a video on this a while back. But the trade paperback of Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man came out. And there's this character, Dream Spider, that first debuted in this is making it to the main continuity next month. I think she's actually going to be a new character. And I know there are a lot of a lot of Spider-Verse characters that are kind of but this one she's a good character, so it's definitely worth picking up when she makes it to the main continuity. And then the trade paperback for Hitomi came out. The cover art on this is fucking gorgeous. But yeah, so this is the other one that I did a video back a while back, that recommended to people, and it is phenomenal. So definitely check those out. And then the last ones, the 3 trade paperbacks for Brian Michael Bendis's Pearl. This thing, it's about the albino tattoo artist, Yakuza assassin, which I know that sounds crazy.
Damn.
But it is. But it's Brian Michael Bendis, and Michael Gatos's art in this is stunning. And then variant covers by David Mack that they show in it, these are just amazing writing. Michael Gatos's art is on a next level. It's just insane. And the whole thing is it's a must read in my opinion. So those trade paperbacks are all out right now. So each one has 5 or 6 issues a piece, so you can tear through them pretty quickly. But hit up your LCS and grab some good shit to read, because there's so much of it out right now.
Definitely, bro. As always, follow Brendan, aka Butt Naked Assassin, on Collector Without Fear on Instagram. Again, great content, everybody here. If you haven't already followed them, if you haven't become a member of the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel, make sure you do subscribe. Hit the like button on this video. As always, once it's done, I'm telling you, just keep coming back for more. We will be back next Monday for some more-ish. A lot more to actually cover, so we will be talking about it. Don't know what the artist feature will be next week, but stay tuned for that. Again, thanks everybody out there for coming through and being part of it. Again, we can't do it without you, but until next week, peace and love. Read you some comics, stay geeky, all the good stuff. And go and see that. Go see this film if you haven't already.
Very good movie. Very good movie.
Make sure you get out there and watch it and support it. As always,
again. Oh yeah, again and again.
Again, yeah, definitely. Make sure you get out there and see it. But until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.